Hey, good people, I'm your life coach, Shanese Powell, and I noticed that there are way too many individuals either unfamiliar with coaching, unable to afford it, or they're just not aware of how much it can do for their lives. This is why I started the What I Need podcast. The WIN podcast creates a space for people to access, well, what they need. We explore mental health by bringing awareness to our good and bad habits that help us or hurt us. We're just here to have those kinds of conversations that you need, they need, and what I need. Let's win together, good people. Okay. Ms. Nat Martin, how are you doing today?
I am doing phenomenal. How are you?
I'm doing well myself. I love that adjective. Can you describe what phenomenal means to you?
Phenomenal means that I am at the place of being at my highest self today. So for today, I'm phenomenal. So I mean, I'm in a good place, in a good space.
I love that. I love that for you. Really want to jump right into it. But before I do, I want to ask you, Ms. Nat Martin, who are you, the person? Before we jump into what you do and all the accolades and all the things that are so impressive about your, career path, can you tell me a little bit about who are you, the person?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that because a lot of times people never really ask people like about them or even ask them, how are you? You know what I'm saying? So I am a woman. I am a mother. I am a friend, sister, a person of goodness. That's who I am. I operate my life just being in a space of doing good for the higher good. So everything about me, from when they hear about my story up until the accomplishments I made in my life, is always just about becoming better, even in your worst, just becoming better. So I'm from New Jersey, originally born and raised. I am a military woman. I've served in the military for over 20 years and retired. The best title there is being a mom. I am a phenomenal mom to a young, handsome king that is up and becoming a young man.
How old is he?
He's 16.
Okay, 16. You got a teenager on your hands.
Yes, and a lot of people when they see him, they like, oh, that's not your baby. That's not a kid. He's still a kid. He just looks like a grown man, but he's my baby boy. Yes.
I love that. I absolutely love that you mentioned that you operate out of goodness. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So a lot of times when people do things, our brain is programmed to go to the bad. Our brain is programmed to go to negative things. And we do it all the time when it comes to ourselves and when it comes to others. But when I look at things in life now, I look at my intentions. Was my intentions good? Was the intentions pure? Because sometimes you have good intentions and things can still come out bad. Or it can be perceived as bad, or it can, offend or hurt others. So now I just say, you know what? I operate in intentions, meaning making sure that my intentions are pure, my intentions are good. And if they're not, then that's something I'm like, wait a minute, we need to work on that, because that's not going to lead us to the goals that we want. So
and how do you feel at the end of a day when you feel that, okay, I've operated out of good intentions today? What kind of feelings come up for you at the end of the day?
So when I reflect at the end of my day, it's really just to see, let me take it back. So a lot of times when we reflect on our day, we think about all the things that we did. And then we think about all the things that happened to us. And then we think about, did it work out or did it not? Did it work out or did it not work out? When I end my day, I think about me, meaning, did I do everything I was supposed to do? Did I give my all and everything? So now when I have those thoughts of, did it work out? Did it not work out? I'm holding myself accountable to my actions, because life, people, places, and things can, alter how things come out. But it's like, okay, well, I didn't give my all today. So, it may not have worked out, and it may have worked out and I still didn't give my all. So that means tomorrow I still got to give my all because I know better, So So that's what I kind of look and base upon. And so one of the things I tell people though, don't beat yourself up,
I was just
because
about to get into that. Yes, yes.
don't beat yourself up, because that whole little statement I made, if you are an analytical person or overthinker like myself, that can go real bad, real quick,
Real quick.
real quick. So you have to like know how to channel it. You have to be like, okay, you know what? Just that last statement I said, where it's like, all right, it worked out, but I know I didn't do my best. It worked out, but I know I didn't give my all. So tomorrow we got to tighten up. We got to give our all. We got to do more because we know better. So it's not about, oh, well, it got done, because some people operate in a very minimum range of life. I don't operate in minimum anything. So if I know I gave my minimum, that's not enough. And again, we can get results with anything we're doing. You can reach the goal, you can get success doing minimum work, minimum effort. But to be fully satisfied in my life, I like to know that I gave my all, because if I got that result, or if I got that success with minimum, imagine what you can do if you gave 110%.
Correct. Correct. And if the day has come and gone and you feel like you didn't give your best, or that you gave the minimum and not your maximum, don't beat yourself up at the same time.
Right.
What you're saying.
You have to learn.
Yeah, give yourself grace, right? I was talking to my clients today about the importance of acknowledging yourself. And I think the exercise of acknowledging yourself is really noting your accomplishments, right? So yes, the people who are hard on themselves may at the end of the day say, I didn't give my best today, but I did A, B, and C, right? So I think that is a practical way in which we can give grace to self, and it will give us energy. That grace will give us energy to move into the next day and then be able to do better and to perform our maximum, right? You have to give yourself energy. Don't deplete your energy just cutting yourself up about the things that you did that, wasn't to the best of your ability. Give yourself the energy by acknowledging your accomplishments, and use that energy to do even better the next day if it's given to you.
Right.
Love that. I love that. Thank you. So when I was doing some Instagram stalking, I saw that you were a resilient, or are a resilience coach. And I absolutely love that word. Offline, I was telling you how intimidated I am by that word. And that's one of the reasons why I was so excited to talk with you, because I want to know, how is it that you present resilience to women, even like myself, who may be so intimidated by it? Like, how do you bite it up, like break it up into bite-sized pieces so that it's not an insurmountable thing for us, but something that we feel like we can get to, that we can do.
Well, I'm curious to know what about the word resilience makes it intimidating? Like, so when you say you see that word resilience and you get intimidated, what does why is that intimidating?
Yes, I love that question. So it's intimidating to me because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist, right? So if at the end of the day, which is why I asked you about how you reflect at the end of the day, because that's where my perfectionism kicks in sometimes, right? Where I think about, did I do my best? Did I not? So I kind of become a perfectionist when I think of that word resilience, because I'm thinking that resilience is I have to keep going all the time, even when I don't feel like it. Resilience to me is like David Coggins. I don't remember if that's his exact name, but there's this gentleman, his name is David Coggins, I think. And every time you know who I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And every time I think of resilience, I think about him. He's so hardcore. He's like, even sometimes so harsh when he's trying to make the point of, you got to keep going, don't give up. So anytime I hear resilience, that's what I'm thinking. And I'm the kind of person that's just like, okay, give me some grace. I need that.
I'm so glad you said that, because I am actually on a path of reprogramming and rephrasing that word. And I'm actually on a path of helping people understand. I know exactly who David Goggins is. He is actually military as well. And you don't have to be hardcore. You don't have to be like, I'm a transformation coach, I'm a resiliency trainer, and I'm a motivational speaker. But that doesn't mean I got to get on here and yell at the camera. That doesn't mean I got to get in here and have my shirt off and be working out and sweating and saying, go, go, go to the end.
And for some people that
Resiliency,
works.
no, and it works. And I,
Some
you know,
people.
I was in the gym very hard. I was a trainer. Like I did all of that. And I'm not saying that none of it works. What I'm saying is that sometimes the perception, like you said, the perception of like, oh man, it takes all of that for me to get there. I don't know if I can do that. So now you already are at a state of being where you're like, I feel low. I don't feel like myself. I feel like everything is too much. And now you see that and you're like, I don't have that in me, right? So now you done already talked yourself out of it, which guess what? Those motivational videos and their tenacity, they had to build their resiliency muscle to get to that point. Because like even with David Goggins' story, he'll tell you about them times when he couldn't even walk, them times when he was at his lowest. But because of building his grit of resiliency, it was how he was able to persevere. And now every day is still a challenge. So resiliency is not survival. Resiliency is not go until you're depleted. That's not resiliency. Resiliency is the ability to bounce back when you are facing adversity. So I always say my saying is when life is lifing. That's like my favorite saying. When life is lifing, because that's something that is equal to all of us. Life's going to life, meaning something's going to come about that's going to try to stop you. Something's going to come about that's going to put you in a halt position where you're feeling like, I don't know what to do. That moment between the life happening and you making a decision to move forward, that is resiliency. When life happens and you push forward, whether it's one small step or whether it's a giant jump, that is resiliency. It's the ability to bounce back after a setback. Mm-hmm. Now, how do you grow your resiliency muscle? Is this. If you see a tree, and I have my plant, I was about to show my plant, but my plant, I'm not a good plant mom right now. So, but I'm gonna say, if you see a tree and a storm comes and it's bending, the wind is blowing and it's bending, and you might see a tree and it's all the way bent, right? And you're like, wow, that tree it's getting hidden. Like that storm came through and wow, it didn't break the tree, right? You see it bent all the way down. It didn't break. That's resiliency. You are able to bend but not break, but then you'll be able to get back up again. So it's like, how do you learn how to incorporate resiliency skills where when life comes, you're able to get back up quicker. You're able to bounce back faster. You're able to persevere without having shutdowns, without allowing it to paralyze you and stop you, without it affecting your mental, your physical, and your emotional health. So that is what resiliency is. And that's what I'm teaching, especially my women, on reprogramming and shifting their mindset on that word, because we heard so much survival skills that a lot of times people take survival mode and they think that's resiliency. Mm-hmm. That's not.
Yeah, that took so much pressure off of me. And I love that you are on this mission, because we really do need to understand what resilience means. And the way that you defined it made it more feasible for me. And it also made me realize, and I'm sure a lot of other listeners, that we probably have been resilient our entire life. Mm-hmm. The fact that we are standing here, that we are here today, and that we are, for some of us, going to work, doing the 9 to 5, whatever it is that we're doing, the fact that we are showing up shows that we bounced back from past challenges and therefore are exercising resilience.
We all are, we're born with it. So I always tell people, you know, because some people say, well, you're so resilient. I wish I could be as strong as you. And I'm like, and you are. Who told you that you weren't? You believe someone telling you that you weren't, and they place their thoughts here. Now we got to shift those thoughts and that mindset to make you tap back into your reserve bank. When you were a kid, we all came out of our mother's womb. We could not walk. We could not talk. When we started to crawl, we got up and we said, "Ooh, I can stand." Now we started to walk. What did we do? We fell. That's something unique. That's not something unique. That's something common for everyone. We all had to learn how to walk as children, and we fell, and we got back up, and we fell. Depending on your parenting and upbringing, some of them might say, "Get back up. Don't cry. Get back up. You got this," right? Mm-hmm. Some people might have came, coddled you and said, "Oh my gosh, my baby," you know, whatever, right? But you had to keep falling and getting back up. Otherwise, as an adult, you would not be walking today. So that is the mere existence of resiliency. As a child who is untouched, we knew, oh, I fell down, I got to get back up. Now, as adults, we fall down, and for some reason, we stay there. For some reason, we don't have that same mindset when we were toddlers to say, oh, no, it's okay. Even if you listen to children, you'll see children, they'll fall and they say, I'm okay.
They do.
And I think it's the cutest thing because it's like, no, you are okay. You're right. They dust themselves off and they go back to it. It's when other external factors react, gives them a different notion to respond to it, is when it shortens their resiliency. So we're all born with it. It's just a matter of some of us forgot that we had it. And then some of us have gotten hit so much that they don't know how to reactivate the resiliency muscle.
Reactivate the resiliency muscle. And I love that we were born with it.
Yes.
Reveal that truth to us, Nat. Thank you for revealing that truth to us. So now that we know that we have the innate ability to bounce back, it's just a matter of going, like digging deep inside us, going back to that skill, because it's like you say, it's a muscle. If you're not training it, then it won't be strong enough. So all it is that it's not that you're not resilient. It is that you haven't trained your muscles often enough. And so it's weak right now. So what is an example that you could give us of a simple activity we could do on a day-to-day basis that will help us train that muscle to help build it back up?
So one of the things on a day-to-day basis, well, I do two, actually. One thing, we have to practice our habits. Our daily habits have a big part on how we operate in life, all the way down to our smallest habits. One of the smallest habits that a lot of people overlook, but it's very vital, is making your bed.
Ooh.
Literally. So because you are doing something consistently every day, some people think it's just a bed. Some people, they don't make their bed. Some people have laundry on their bed. Some people, like it may just stay unput. You may sleep on one side. You may totally take the blankets off the bed. Like everyone sleeps differently. But when you get into a habit and you get up and you start that day and you make your bed, you are training your mind. You're activating, first of all, consistency. You're actually giving your visual space declutter. You're giving your mental space declutter. And then when you return home or into that room, it's like, wow, it does something for you. So I tell people, train yourself for doing that for 30 days straight and watch the difference. And you can annotate it in your journal each day. First day, you're like, I don't want to make this bed. The next day is like, I got to make my bed. I mean, the 30 day, you're like, I'm making my bed, because you'll see the difference. It's one of those experimental things that you'll feel the difference. The second thing is that when obstacles come, don't avoid it. This is how you test your resiliency. So if you're thinking, I don't have resiliency, or I don't know how to do it, when obstacles come, all obstacles, whether it's traffic, that's something that's unique to all of us. If it's traffic, you're in traffic and it's like, oh, I'm late. You have to look at how you respond to adversity. You're late. There's two ways you can respond. You can be upset and mad, and now your body's going to respond. Your day is going to be horrible for the rest of the day. Or you can take it and say, you know what? I'm blessed to be right here in this traffic because I don't know what's ahead. It may be someone in a car accident ahead. They may not have made it. So I'm blessed to be here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to proceed with my day. So it's like how you respond to it is how you build your resiliency. So now when I look at those are very small, even though I say they're small, those might be major problems for someone else. For me, that's very small because I have major attacks that come to me. So those are small. But how I'm able to deal with the major problems is by making sure I consistently watch how I respond and react to the smaller ones. That's how you build up your resiliency daily. Like, I mean, all the way up into if your gas light come on, or, just the smallest things. You spill something on your outfit and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I responding to this? Okay. That's how you're programming your mind to shift it, because your response dictates how you get through it. Your response dictates how you're going to persevere through it. If you're going to respond angry, stressed, or mad, you're not going to get through it. It's going to cause multiple problems going forward, which you're going to feel like you don't have resiliency. And that's not being resilient.
Mm-hmm.
That's just being reactive in an unhealthy way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's sounding like you're saying the response is influenced by your mindset. That is your perspective, how you choose to perceive the situation as before you, right?
Yes.
And that's why I'm such an advocate for perspective shifting and mindset, and not mind control, but mind management. Because when you get that mind where it's supposed to be, your response is what it's supposed to be. And before you know it, you're ultimately leading a more peaceful life. We're less stressed, because I feel like our lives are our lives are a combination of decisions we made, but choices, actions, our responses, right? And so if we manage our mind, we then manage our responses, we then manage our lives.
Right. I tell people, decisions of yesterday is your today.
Woo!
So your decisions of yesterday is what you're living today. So make your decisions of today. Make sure it's going to affect your tomorrow. So if you made bad decisions of yesterday, again, I'm all about giving grace. Those were your decisions of yesterday, but we're not in yesterday. We're here today. We're in the present. So what can I do better? How can I be better? What better decisions can I make today? Because I know starting at this moment, whatever decision I make right now, it's going to affect my tomorrow. But a lot of people don't look at it as that. They'll hold themselves hostage to the past and be like, well, yesterday I didn't do this, or I didn't. Okay, that was yesterday. What can we do now? What can we do today? Like if it was a bad decision, it was a bad decision. I mean, we can't change it, but we can change. We can, one, reflect, learn the lesson in it, and then proceed mindfully going towards the positive to make sure that our tomorrow is not affected by yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Thank you so much. So we spoke a little bit about resilience and how what that is just the ability to bounce back, and that we have the innate ability to do that, right? And you gave us two practical, very simple, easy, might be easy for some, might not be easy for some, but it's definitely doable, right? Two practical things we can do to exercise and train that resilience muscle, right? So we can build strength back in that muscle. I wonder, what is the difference between resilience and persistence? Sometimes I hear those words used interchangeably. Is there a difference between the two? If so,
yes.
Okay, let us have it.
So persistence is an adjective. It's to describe something. It's to describe, an action, something that you're doing, right? Resilience is actually, there's different types of resiliency. So a lot of people just hear the word resiliency, but there's different types of resiliency. So like, one is community resilience. Community resilience is something that we all went through with the pandemic. It was something that's happening to everyone at the same time, and we all have to overcome and persevere through it. So now we have to be together. 9/11, that was community resilience, something that has happened to all of us, and then we all come together to get through it. That is what we call community resilience. You have physical resilience as well. So part of my story is that a lot of people knew I had to learn how to walk again twice. So when I could not walk, I literally, my body had to build resiliency to persevere to get back up again. So it's like when you hear people, okay, we're getting older. I'm not accepting that. But, your body start not doing all the things it used to. You have to learn resilience, physical resilience on how do you overcome that? Okay, you can't, walk the 5 miles you used to. Now you barely walking the 1 mile. How are you okay with that? How are you accepting that? That is a huge change when it comes to aging, when it comes to physical resilience. Then you have emotional resilience. That was kind of the example. And that's what a lot of people refer to when they hear resiliency, is the emotional resilience. And that's your response, your reactive state. How do you respond to adversity? So there's actually about 5 to 6 different resiliency types. So it's a matter of, we all use it all in one, but we don't know that it's actually different things that you are building. And sometimes one area may be weaker than the other, and that may be affecting you where you're feeling like, I don't feel like I'm getting progress. I thought I was, because I hear women say, I thought I was strong. I guess I'm not. And I'm like, yes, you are. And I don't like the word strong. Because strong is subjective. You know, this isn't a strength test, right? When I say strengthen your resiliency muscle, I'm not going to sit here and say how much weight can you lift, right? The strong that people use, which is a great adjective, however, it's been used in the wrong way for years and years and years to come, that it has a negative connotation when it comes to women. So when women are told they are strong, society, for some reason, thinks that they don't need help. And I'm like, no. Yes, I am a strong woman, but that doesn't mean I don't need help. That doesn't mean that I don't need support. That doesn't mean I need assistance. It means that I was able to withstand. Some of that was survival and some of that was resiliency. But see, a lot of times that strong, a lot of women are surviving. And they're perceived as being strong, but they're surviving because they have no other option and they're choosing not to give up. So now when you get your head above the water out of survival mode, you're like, okay, I made it through.
Right.
That's when you really start tapping into your resiliency.
Okay.
That's when you start to really say, okay, because life happens and sometimes you have to be in that survival mode for a period. Just to get out of it, right? But if you start to incorporate resiliency with it, then you'll get out of it faster.
There we go. Okay. Yeah. And the persistence.
Now, when it comes to persistence, it's in the same category of consistent. So when you're consistent, that means you're doing something time after time after time after time again. When you're persistent, is that while you're doing something consistently, you are adamant about getting it done. Like, I am persistent that I'm gonna get this done. I am persistent that I'm gonna get my goal. I am persistent that I'm gonna get my health in order. Like, you are adamant. You have strong will that you're going to do this. So you have to be persistent with resiliency, because when you're being resilient, no, everybody doesn't want to fight the fight. No, everybody doesn't want to get back up again. Sometimes being down, you're like, I just want to stay here. They feel like their back is to the wall. I just want to stay here. This is too much, right? Too much to bear, too much weight on their shoulders. Well, when you have a persistent mindset, no, I'm not staying here. I have to get up. So now I have to be persistent so that I can be resilient. So it works hand in hand. And then I got to be consistent so that I can stay going. So it's like all of that works hand in hand, and you see the characteristics of it, but it's persistent mindset so that you can actually be resilient, so you can consistently show up for yourself each and every day.
Excellent. So persistence gives way to resilience.
Yes.
Excellent. I totally get that. Sounds good. I'm very intrigued by the fact that you were in the Air Force. I'm always intrigued by anyone who's in that community. It's like, how do you do it? It is so commendable. I don't know. When I think of you ladies, I think of not just ladies, men too. I think of the strength that you were referring to earlier, right? That you're strong, right? So I'm always commending you guys, and I'm always inspired by you guys. And thank you all so much, by the way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You guys' support. Thank you.
Absolutely. And so what I wanted to ask is, what are some of the more common challenges women in the Air Force face that you help them overcome?
So when serving in the military as a woman, it is not easy. So I have to check what the stats are right now, current day, but post-pandemic, it used to be for every one female, it's one female to 7 men. So one female, it's 7 men. And so depending upon what field of work you are in, it may even be double that. So for my females that were maintainers that worked on the aircraft as maintenance, it's hardly any females in those career fields. for my females that was security forces and cops. It's getting better with the numbers, but that's a majority male career field. So my job for the first 10 years in the Air Force was I controlled aircraft. I did combat ground control. And my career field was a man-dominated career field. So when you are coming in at 18 years old, you know, I just want to have my career started and I just want to, you know, be the best in my job and do, you know, do what I'm supposed to do. You're not thinking, well, I wasn't thinking that, well, I gotta, you know, be against these guys and oh my gosh. No, you don't think that at all. Because you're just thinking, I'm just trying to learn my job, do my job, and we are all created equal.
Correct.
But unfortunately, we're not. Fortunately, we're not. And nor are we treated equally. And so among other factors of race and all of that stuff, just being woman and man, it's a big difference. So it's difficult for women. And then a Black woman serving, I got all my promotions first time all the way up until I made E6. And so I was gunning hot. Like I was making promotion fast. And I knew my job and I was the tip of the spear. There were men that didn't like that. So they made it very difficult. And so at that moment, you have to start feeling, well, I started feeling like, well, you know, I'm just doing my job. That was my saying for, I want to say, the first 5 years. I'm just doing my job. What's the problem? I'm just doing my job. But then I started realizing they are half, I don't know if we cuss on here, but in the military we cuss a little bit, but it's a saying, we say half-ass. They were half-assing at their job, but yet you wanted me to be beneath you. And it was like, wait, what? So my greatness that's not good enough? So it was like, it was very confusing for me for my beginning of my career. I was very confused about how men was intimidated by me. I've been small framed, like a little stick my whole life. I was like, intimidated by me? What are you talking about? Like, it's me. Like, what are you talking about? But it was because I had the persistent mindset of learning whatever I need to learn, getting more qualifications, certificate. Like, I just wanted to know more. But people didn't like that. So I learned in the beginning of my career what resiliency was because of
gotta bounce back when they face you.
Because of the persistent mindset and the willpower of, you know, I seen the goal. I was like, I'm going to be this. I want this. How do I get there? And I actually had a mentor that said, this is how you get there. Okay, I'm going to do it all. And I just went after it all. And I was going. So for women that serve in the military, they are unheard. They are silenced. They are overlooked. They are struggling. They struggle because one, we have to be everything that the men are and still be moms. We have to be everything the men are and still be women, you know? And so, and then when I say that, meaning we have to come back and be our feminine self too. But in our place of work, that is considered weak. So it's like a juggling act of trying to balance the forces of who you are, meaning just in your innate, you know, being, and then in the environment of working in a male-dominated field of just being seen. So a lot of female veterans, they struggle with just being seen, being heard, and not being labeled. Because unfortunately for Black female veterans, if you speak too loud, you're aggressive. If you don't speak at all, then it's like you have attitude. So it's like, wait, what?
And it's funny. It's funny you say that because I think about Nicki Minaj, right? So Nicki Minaj, she speaks on that. She's spoken on that multiple times where, and you know, it's the hip hop culture. So obviously, you know, when you're presenting your craft, you're going to be aggressive or whatever. But whenever she's in an interview and she starts defending herself, it's looked at as aggressiveness. Oh, you're kind of aggressive. But if a man were to do the same thing, it's, oh, he's strong, he knows himself, and he's just,
Right.
protecting his character, or defending his character. Yeah, so it's a plight for women in the Air Force, in outside the Air Force, it's
Yeah.
literally everywhere. And so that tells us that yes, men and women unfortunately are not created equally, because the women, especially Black women, are having to do a little bit extra, a little bit more,
Right.
to prove themselves. But how did you deal with confidence? How did you find that confidence and keep it in an environment like that, where you're constantly having to prove yourself, hold on to your femininity at the same time?
So it takes a lot. So one of the things that I had adapted early on was that knowing how to have military discipline and emotional intelligence and emotional control. Now, in the earlier days, I might not have had any of it. I promise you. Like, I came in, I was 18 years old. They have a word called tact, and they're like, this girl has no tact. And I'm like, I have tact. Y'all just don't know my version of it. So my version of it at the time was that I just said what came to my mind. And if that's what I felt like saying, I said it because it's the truth. But then I learned as I matured and became higher in leadership and higher in the ranks, is that even though what I was saying was very true, it's like, okay, it's not about how you say, it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. So I learned how to say things where I still got my message across, but I also made sure I said it in a sternful way where I'm not to be played with. And then they started to understand. Another thing that I incorporated was that persistent mindset of being the best in my job and knowing my craft and mastering it, that you cannot put down skill. So you may not like me as a woman, you may not like me as a person,
But at the end of the day,
at the end of the day, you need me because I'm qualified. I'm the only one qualified. I'm actually overly qualified. I've actually trained you. So at the end of the day, that's where I started realizing that they may not see me as a woman, they may not see me as a person, but they will see me as far as the impact and value I bring to the table. So that was one of the things that I tell all my females that come in: don't overwork yourself, don't burn out, because I've done that too. I always tell them, you make sure that when you show up, you show out. So when I came to work, it was game time. So when I put my uniform on, I was that. When I came home, yeah, I might have had a hard day. I might have cried in the shower, like, man, they really beat me down today. But when I was there, they will not get the audacity or get the privilege of seeing me in that state. I stayed firm. I stayed headstrong. I did my job at the best of my ability. And I made sure that, especially because as a leader in the military, people are always watching. I have people looking up to me. I'm leading people. So even if a certain group is trying to tear me down or trying to, make me feel smaller, I have to be the example for others. So that's where it was like a balancing act. So I have tips and trades of, if you in a career where you feel like you ready to just snap, and how to keep a paycheck and how to be seen. I mentor women and men and some men on how I maintain, because again, people say, man, I would have just blew up. You can't always blow up. That's not the solution. But I could tell you how to not blow up and how to make sure that you're still okay here. Because internally you still have feelings. You're a human, you're a being. So,
I love that you mentioned emotional intelligence and spoke to the place that it has in the military, right? Because anytime you think of military, you're always thinking of physical strength and even mental strength, and just this ability to come, like, as you said, show up and be the best at what you do, right? The best you can be at what you do. But the power of that emotional intelligence, I feel like it's something that takes a back seat, because a lot of times we feel like, no, I just need to show up and get the job done. But we are emotional beings, and because we are doing this job with each other, it involves emotion, right?
Right.
So how do you define emotional intelligence first and foremost, and how do we become intelligent in that way?
We already, let me say something. Everything that we need is already within us.
We got it.
We,
We got it in us.
we already have it. It's just, we have gotten beaten down, or, we have planted other people projections on us that we're like, oh, I don't have that, or I don't do this. And it's like, yes, you do. Just move all that stuff out the way and get back in tune with you. Mm-hmm. So one of the things was, because again, when I came in, I didn't have tat. I didn't have it at all. It was just like, and I used to get called in the office a lot because they were like,
go to the principal's office.
Right. And I was like, well, what did I say? It's the truth. And they're like, my supervisor was like, oh my God, girl, come here. And I'd be like, ugh. I'd be like, and I used to tell them, y'all stressing me out. And they're like, we stressing you out. Yes, y'all are interrupting my day. Like, I'm saying, I was in my own world. Like, so here I am 20 plus years retired from the military, master sergeant, which is one of the top levels, versus when I came in and what I just told you, people were like, she's not going to make it. Like, they were like, I think they were betting money on me. Like, she's not going to make it. Like and then it was people, the intimidated ones that did not want me to make it because I would have took their spots. So one of the things that I tell people that you really have to do is, when it comes to emotional intelligence, it's being disciplined to who you are. It's being disciplined to who you are. That's good. Because when you are disciplined to who you are, like my uniform, when I put that uniform, we have rules and regulations that we have to follow when in uniform. So that kind of helped, because you can't just act any type of way in uniform, because we represent not only ourselves, but I represented the Air Force. So how I act in this uniform, I represent something bigger and I can get in trouble. So that was one way of how a lot of people control themselves or whatever. But another way, besides being, stuck on regulations and rules, it was, is that how I want to be looked at? Is that how I want to be described? Is that how I want the world to see me? Because you know who you are as a person. And if we don't control ourselves, then it's like, that's not the look that I want. And that's what I realized, where I had someone make a statement and I was like, I'm not like that. And it was like, oh, you just say whatever you want. And I was like, well, I don't want to come off as it being mean, because I'm not mean. I just telling the truth. So I realized, like, that was an awakening moment for me. I was like, okay, I have to make sure I control my thoughts and my verbiage, because even though the thought may be that, maybe factual, it may be true, it can come off as a different way. So perception is reality in the eye of the beholder. So
correct. And the thing is, you want to be effective in your communication. And so if you want the person who you are communicating with to understand and truly grasp what it is you're saying, so that you can progress and move on to whatever else y'all need to move on to, say it in such a way that they will understand. I think language is as important as tone, right? As you were speaking to, I realized I never asked you why the transition from Air Force to coaching.
So I've always been coaching while I was in the Air Force. I've always been speaking while I was in the Air Force. So for the last 11 years of my career, I was actually a recruiter and recruiter manager and supervisor, and I was an instructor. So I was teaching people how to control aircraft. I was teaching instructors how to become instructors. So I was teaching public speaking. In recruiting, I impact lives. I impact thousands of lives. So I'm coming into someone's life and they're trusting me that what I'm telling them, this is going to change their life, not only their life, but their family's life. So I had to coach them. I had to coach parents along the way, because they're like, you want to take my child where? No, like, wait a minute, I got you. Right. But I had to establish that relationship and have effective communication and just coach people along the way. And I still mentor and coach people to this day that's still in the Air Force now, And I put people in all branches. It wasn't just my branch of choice because of how I live my life intentionally on trying to be the good and help people. Even if I had applicants come to me and they did not qualify to meet the requirements for the Air Force, it's like, well, listen, how can I help you? I put them in college. I put them, whatever way I could have been a change agent for their life.
Beautiful.
That's what I did. So that's why people are like, you're not like a regular recruiter. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even a recruiter. And they're like, what? I'm like, this is a costume. So I used to joke with them, like, I'm not even in the Air Force. And they're like, what? I'm like, I'm joking. But you're right, because there's other recruiters, they don't fit the same model. They just do what they're supposed to, and that's it. But I know that the impact on my motto has always been people first. And if I help someone the way that I help them, they're going to reciprocate that and go help someone else. And so it's like, and especially when they're coming to me and I'm a role model. So if I'm in a positional, and I had my title, I have my position. A lot of people get in positions and title and they abuse positional power. I took it in a sense that it's my responsibility to show them the way. If they're coming to me to join the Air Force, I have to show them that I am a great supervisor, that I am a great mentor, that I am a great airman in the United States Air Force, so that when they start their journey and they go to basic training, they already seen what it's supposed to look like. Because there's some in that's not so great. And so it's like, I want you to know, oh man, and they do that, we go by our rank and our last name. So they're like, Sergeant Martin was like, I still get calls today. I got introduced to someone's kid and they're like, this is Sergeant Martin. I'm like, this is Miss Nat, they're like, no, Sergeant Martin. And I'm like, okay, like it's never, and I still do it. I mean, I have my mentors, they're well retired, and I still be like, no, you still, this person to me, because that's the impact that you gave to my life. So.
Yeah. So your intentionality is speaking for itself, your intentionality has caused you to be very purposeful in whatever task or job that you do have. So while you were a quote unquote recruiter, because you only just put that little costume on so that they come in, right. So while you were a recruiter, you were having that mindset of, okay, people first. How can you work on yourself to become a better or the best version of yourself, so that in whatever it is you do, in or outside of the Air Force, you do it well because you, the individual, has been worked on. Yes, I feel like
it's paid this course. Like I had a young lady, Melanie, she lost about 150 pounds for me to join the Air Force. Wow. And let me take that back. It wasn't me. She lost 150 pounds to join the Air Force. But any other recruiter would have met her and would have told her, you're disqualified. And they probably would have never seen her again. Now, I told her, yes, ma'am, you right now you don't meet the current qualifications. However, how determined are you to join the Air Force?
Yes, Miss Nat.
I met her at her sophomore year, and she said, I'm going to join the Air Force. I said, let me tell you something. If you are serious, then this is what I'll do for you. I told her to send me a DM every week, every Friday, send me a DM with your weight check. When you get to this point, then I will schedule an appointment with you and I can start receiving paperwork. And we did it. And then when she got in, okay, now I need you to get to this mark in order for you to qualify to go. She did it. And even when she met the mark, I used to have the same thing I did for her. I used to have people come in on Mondays and work out with me at my office. She would come in on Mondays and I was like, Melanie, you're good. You're clear. It was like, no, I'm here to help the others.
That persistence kicked in.
But no, she said, I'm here to help the others.
Oh,
so it's not, she's good, but she's like, no, because they need help too. And I'm like, so it's that I already instilled and helped her with that mindset. So when she came in the Air Force and I started to see her grow, and I'm like, look at her, because she already know what it takes to be a great leader and to how to help others. Like, so those are the differences of things that I've done throughout my career. And then some people, they might have tried that, And they're like, I just can't get it. And that's fine. So what else is the other options? Because I don't believe in just like, all right, well, you can't join the Air Force, so now I can't help you. No, I can
Mm-hmm.
still help you. I can
Mm-hmm.
help you, whatever. I put a young man, he just could not qualify. He could not pass the test. I started tutoring him. He could not pass the test. It's okay, listen, what else? Let's try to look at community college. Let's look at a different option.
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing very well. He's in music now. You know, he
Mm-hmm.
never got to join, but now he's doing music. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? So everything isn't for everybody, but sometimes we meet people and you don't know the impact that you have on someone's life or even the things you instilled. So I tell people every interaction is on purpose, in purpose for some reason in your life. You just may not know. So
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I love that. It gave me goosebumps hearing those stories. Oh my, because you put people first. And I want managers and supervisors, directors, leaders of any company, organization, non-for-profit, even if you're just a leader of a small church group or just a small group that meets once a week, please understand this, people first. When you have that
right,
people first mindset, you're not just training people to do a job well, you're training people to become better human beings so that even if they don't work well at this job, they're going to work well at something else. And that ripple effect, like with that young lady that you mentioned earlier, she came back to help others because she
right,
knows by now, she's familiar with the idea of resilience and persistence, and she knows how to then teach that to a bunch of other people that you couldn't teach because you got to move on to somebody else.
right,
So she got those other people that you couldn't have. So now there's a group of other people who are benefiting from the one thing that you did and it started with your people mindset, people first mindset. You know what I mean?
right.
I am so happy to hear that. The final thing I want to ask you, Nat, is what kind of books are you reading right now, if any, because we want to get on the same page that you are on. Let's see.
Okay. So I am a John Maxwell coach. I am an international certified speaker trainer coach for John Maxwell. So one of the books that I'm rereading because he has a large collection of books if you follow John Maxwell. But one of the ones that I'm rereading right now is called Put Your Dreams to the Test.
Hmm.
And I actually teach this, and I do a mastermind on this book. But it's putting your dreams to the test just because I retired last year and now I'm in my own full-time entrepreneurship and I'm building the community and reaching globally, trying to make an impact on people's lives. I want to make sure I am not missing out on things that's for me, meaning I know that that's the assignment. Like it's God given. I'm here to help people globally. I've said that since I was a young girl and I'm doing it. But now I just reread that book this month, just going back to the baseline, and that book helps you identify your purpose. It actually gives you questions. It makes you tap into yourself to really sit still within yourself to ask you questions like, are you living in your purpose? Like, are you really putting your dreams to the test? Are you living that purposeful life and doing the things that you said you wanted to do? Not just saying like, oh, one day that'll be great. No, let's make it, let's put it to the test. Let's go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm reading that one right now. And then I have another book, which is a military book. Is a man that I met, I want to say last 2 months ago. We were hiking together and I didn't know he had a book, but I was at a filming of a podcast and he was on the podcast and he has a book called Dog Company. And it talked about his story of when he was in Afghanistan. And with my experiences of being a combat veteran from Iraq and my story, hearing some of the trials that he had to go through, again, resiliency at its utmost of not even just when you at the war, but how do you live after the war.
So that's Dog Company by Lynn Vincent and Captain Roger Hill. And finally, Miss Nat, how can people contact you?
So I'm on all platforms. All platforms is I am Nat Martin, NATMARTIN. or you can look up Transform You University. That is the personal and professional development platform that I teach my leadership and resiliency trainings. So again, that's on all the platforms as well. So that's how you can contact me, or you can go to the website, which is transformyouuniversity.com.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much, Nat, for all that you have done for the world and all that you are doing and will do for the world. I am so excited to see what next you will do. I'm so motivated and inspired by you as a coach. Thank you for making resilience less intimidating for me, because I need that. Now
I am glad.
because I'm coming to find that, okay, maybe I have been exercising resilience this whole time. Let me give myself grace, be kinder to myself, and understand that I have the ability and I'm actually engaging in it. Now that I am aware of what resilience truly means, I can engage in it more intentionally, and I can use one of those resilience flexing exercise or resilience training exercises that is making my bed every day.
It's a lot, like a lot of stuff. One thing I just want to add real quick is that a lot of things that we do, like even on the I Am Nat Martin social media page, a lot of people see me with a lot of the self-care, the self-soothing. Those are things for your emotional resilience. So like the things that I tell people when I'm traveling, that's for my mental resilience. You know what I mean? When people saw me, even now, I'm still in physical therapy. So they see me, I'm walking, but I cannot run. And so that persistence mindset, I am persistent that I may not be able to run a 5K anymore. I used to just run 5Ks just on my free time. I may not be able to do that anymore. However, I am persistent to see what can we do with my newfound limitations and how we can stretch them. So I am very physical resilience is still a thing. So I'll showcase the hike. That's why I went on that hike. I went on that hike. Let's see how can we do this? Does it come with pain? Yes. Does it come with the fear of like, will I be able to do this? Yes. But I know, like, we got this. I had to pull up the resilience. No, we got this. We'll be able to do this. And knowing that when you're going for a challenge, it's going to bring pain on my body. It's going to bring some type of fear, and my body is resistant because it's trying to, protect. Like, no, we can't do that. So I have to be resilient enough to push through past it. So those are just some examples that a lot of people incorporate in their day-to-day, that they have self-care, like it's all in it, but it's just a matter of how to utilize it to make sure that you're strengthening it for when those storms and those tests come. So.
Excellent. Thank you so much. That is a wonderful way, beautiful way to end our time together. Thank you, Nat. Thank you for being here, and thank you for all those nuggets. I will take them. I don't know about them, but I will.
Yes. Thank you for having me. I appreciate, all that you're doing as well, and just being able to share this message with everybody that's connected to you and those that are listening. And it's just amazing what you're doing, and I am grateful for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Have a good rest of the day, good rest of the week. All right. Keep doing what you're doing, but only at a higher level.